Welcome back to our channel, where today we dive deep into one of the most fascinating and mysterious stories in the world of rare coins and unexpected fortunes. And if you thought a single penny couldn't change a life, then wait until you hear the unbelievable tale behind the 1975 1-cent coin that has rocked the numismatic community, created waves across auction floors, and has collectors scrambling to find their own hidden treasures tucked away in jars and drawers. Because what if we told you that one such 1975 penny, seemingly just another small copper coin from everyday pocket change, has been valued at a jaw-dropping $161 million due to a combination of minting errors, rare features, striking anomalies, and historical missteps that turned this ordinary-looking cent into a legendary collectible with a worth that eclipses luxury cars, high-end properties, and in some cases, entire private islands. And in this video, we're going to explore the thrilling background, error, varieties, production anomalies, and economic quirks that made this coin skyrocket in value, while uncovering every reason why this particular penny has not only captured imaginations but also shattered records in the coin collecting world. So let's rewind the clock to 1975, a year of transformation in the United States when inflation was high, the Vietnam War had recently ended, and the American Mint was producing Lincoln cents at a breakneck pace to keep up with growing demand. And amidst this high-volume production came mistakes, many of them small and expected, but occasionally something occurred that left an indelible mark, a miscalculation so rare that it altered the perceived worth of a tiny coin. And this is exactly what happened with this fabled 1975 penny, which is believed to have been struck under exceptional circumstances where a convergence of misaligned dies, planchette flaws, metal composition irregularities, off-center strikes, double dies, and even rumored transitional elements created what has now become the holy grail for modern penny collectors. Because what separates a coin like this from others is not just one singular error, but a combination of features that align in a way that's nearly impossible to replicate. And in the case of the $161 million penny, several of those traits appear in tandem, which includes a dramatic off-center strike that leaves Lincoln's bust floating awkwardly with incomplete rim impressions, paired with a severe doubling on both the obverse and reverse sides, particularly noticeable in the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" and "Liberties," as well as the date itself showing clear doubling that could only be attributed to a misaligned die or improper hubbing process. But what makes it even more remarkable is that the coin also appears to be struck on a planchette intended for a different denomination, possibly a foreign coin blank or a transitional metal composition that wasn't meant to be used in standard Lincoln cents. And this has led experts to believe that this coin could have originated from a test run or experimental batch that was never meant to leave the mint, possibly used during a transitional phase where the mint was experimenting with different metals due to the rising cost of copper and zinc during the 1970s. And it's important to understand that in 1975, the US Mint was still producing cents composed mostly of copper, which would change dramatically only a few years later in 1982 when they moved to a predominantly zinc core due to rising commodity prices. But if an experimental blank from another metal was used in error for this 1975 strike, then we're looking at a historically significant transitional error which is incredibly rare and desirable. And to make things more compelling, some versions of the 1975 penny also display repunched mint marks, where the mint mark D or S appears to have been struck more than once and misaligned, causing it to appear ghosted or layered, a detail that collectors love due to the visual intrigue and confirmation of human or mechanical intervention at the minting level. And adding fuel to the fire of speculation is the possibility that this coin may have been produced with an incorrect die, perhaps one intended for a proof coin or even for a completely different coin series. And when all these factors stack together, the misaligned strike, double die, unusual planchette, repunched mint mark, and possible transitional features, what you get is not merely a mint error but a combination that borders on impossibility, making it a one-of-a-kind specimen that sends collectors into bidding frenzies whenever it is rumored to appear on the market. And that's precisely what happened in one recent high-stakes auction, where this very penny, authenticated and graded by top agencies like PCGS or NGC with an MS66 or higher grade, was put up for bidding and caused an absolute sensation as seasoned collectors and investors went head in an effort to acquire this unique piece of minting history, with the final gavel falling on an astronomical figure, $161 million, setting a world record for the most expensive 1-cent coin ever sold. But how did this price reach such an inconceivable level for a penny? And the answer lies not only in the rare errors but also in the story, the intrigue, the verified authenticity, and the market dynamics driven by scarcity, provenance, and collector obsession, because the numismatic market values coins not just based on their physical characteristics but also on their story and cultural relevance, and when a coin emerges that checks all these boxes, its value becomes nearly limitless, and in the case of the 1975 penny, its combination of multiple high-value errors wrapped in a historical moment of transition and uncertainty created a perfect storm of collector interest that ultimately pushed the price to this record-breaking figure, and while some critics argue about the actual market value being influenced by hype or private bidding wars, the reality is that in collectible markets, perception often becomes reality, and the story of this coin has now cemented itself in the annals of rare coin lore, causing even casual collectors to re-examine their change jars and old coin rolls in the hope of discovering a similar treasure. And the deeper you go into the analysis of this coin, the more fascinating details emerge, such as how the fields of the coin appear unusually frosted, suggesting an accidental proof finish, or how the edges show signs of being struck multiple times due to collar failure during minting, and it's these micro details that elevate the status of the coin from rare to legendary. And it's worth noting that the 1975 penny already had some notoriety in collector circles due to the lack of a 1975 proof set with a 1975 cent, which only adds to the aura of mystery surrounding this particular minting year. And if somehow this $161 million coin is a result of a secretive or undocumented mint test, it adds another layer of intrigue. And then you consider the market forces where hedge fund managers, tech billionaires, and seasoned coin investors treat these coins not as currency but as historical assets whose value can only appreciate over time, especially when they are unique and irreplaceable. And when you also factor in inflation, rising interest in tangible assets, the popularity of rare collectibles, and the expansion of digital cataloging and provenance tracking through blockchain, the investment appeal becomes enormous and can explain why someone would willingly spend $161 million on what was once worth just 1 cent, and stories have emerged of collectors mortgaging homes, emptying retirement funds, or entering bidding syndicates just for the chance to own a coin of this caliber because it represents not only wealth but status, influence, and a tangible piece of American minting history. And to those still skeptical, remember that art, wine, cars, and now even digital images have sold for millions, so why not a physical object with finite existence, undeniable craftsmanship, and an epic story to match? And as this coin now resides in a climate-controlled vault, protected like a national treasure, the legend continues to grow, drawing new collectors into the fold and renewing interest in Lincoln cents, which were once thought to be too common to bother with, and now collectors are hunting for minor variations, die errors, misaligned features, and even toning patterns that could indicate a previously unnoticed rarity. And this cultural and market ripple effect caused by one extraordinary penny is redefining the way we view everyday objects, reminding us that even the smallest, most overlooked item can hold unimaginable value under the right circumstances. So check your change, look twice at your coin rolls, and stay curious, because the next $161 million discovery might just be sitting in your pocket right now. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most thrilling tales in coin collecting history, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable discoveries and hidden treasures from the world of numismatics. Next! Today we're going to uncover the astonishing story of a tiny coin that has stunned collectors and investors alike, a 2015 AD Lincoln 1 cent coin that, due to an incredible mix of errors, minting mistakes, and nearly impossible conditions, has reached a legendary value of $41 million, an astronomical figure that leaves even the most experienced numismatists speechless and curious. Because how does a coin that was minted less than a decade ago and originally worth only a penny become so valuable that it rivals the price of luxury yachts, sprawling mansions, and fine art masterpieces? And as we dive deep into this modern marvel of minting, prepare to explore a labyrinth of rare features, accidental creations, and the sheer improbability that such a coin could exist, yet it does, and its story is one of the most gripping tales in the realm of rare coin collecting. So let's start from the beginning. In 2015, the Denver Mint was operating as one of the key hubs of coin production for the United States, churning out billions of coins to meet circulation demands across the country. And amidst this mass production environment, quality control, while advanced, can never be perfect, and it's in these tiny windows of opportunity, between machine malfunctions, die misalignments, and metal inconsistencies, that magic can happen. And in the case of this 2015 AD penny, multiple rare minting errors occurred simultaneously, resulting in a one-of-a-kind numismatic masterpiece, a coin that not only slipped through every quality check but also captured a series of anomalies so distinct and so rare that it became an instant icon in coin collecting circles, with experts and auction houses stunned by its uniqueness and origin. And when this coin was finally discovered by an unsuspecting individual sorting through a box of uncirculated rolls, the shock and disbelief quickly turned into a full-blown frenzy as authentication services like PCGS and NGC confirmed that the coin exhibited several extraordinary minting errors, all coexisting on one singular piece, and the value skyrocketed not just because of one error, but because of the combination, starting with a highly dramatic double-die obverse, where the entire front of the coin shows clear, undeniable doubling, especially visible in the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and most shockingly, the date 2015, which appears ghosted and layered in such a way that it clearly points to a misalignment during the die hubbing process. And while double dies are not new to Lincoln cents, the clarity and extent of this doubling is among the strongest ever recorded, making it instantly desirable. But the mystery deepens because this penny also features a misaligned die strike, causing the reverse side to appear slightly rotated compared to the obverse, a condition that disrupts the alignment of the design elements and is particularly noticeable along the rim, giving the coin a tilted appearance when viewed straight on. And as if that wasn't enough, the coin was struck on a transitional planchet, a blank that appears to have come from a different metal composition than the standard zinc-coated copper used in 2015, possibly a leftover planchet from a previous minting batch or even a foreign coin blank that was mistakenly fed into the coining press, giving the 2015 AD penny a slightly different weight, color tone, and sound when dropped, all of which were later confirmed through metallurgical analysis. And this adds another layer of intrigue because transitional errors, especially in modern coins, are exceedingly rare due to the improved control mechanisms at mints, but every once in a while, an anomaly like this slips through, creating a coin that is not only a collector's dream but also a minting enigma. And the list of rare features doesn't end there, as this coin also displays what appears to be a retained cut error, where a portion of the die has broken off but remained in place during multiple strikes, creating a raised, blob-like feature on the rim and part of Lincoln's shoulder, a condition that proves the coin was struck under physical die failure and somehow continued to be used, likely due to oversight or hurried production schedules. And then there's the interior die break visible through Lincoln's jacket and into the field of the coin, another anomaly that would usually signal the need for die retirement. Yet here it is, preserved in remarkable detail on a coin that already defies the odds. And then we move to the coin's reverse, where the shield design appears partially weak-struck and ghosted, suggesting a possible grease-filled die during production, where minting lubricants or debris clogged the die and prevented full transfer of the design, a common enough occurrence in isolation, but when combined with every other error on this coin, it takes on a much more significant role in the coin's value. And what truly boggles the mind is that this isn't just an error coin, it's an error convergence, a situation where multiple rare errors have occurred at once, creating a specimen that defies probability. And when authenticated and graded at MS67 red by a top-tier grading service, this coin was elevated into the stratosphere of rare collectibles, its value bolstered further by its flawless surfaces, full mint luster, and eye-popping detail. And when it first appeared at auction, collectors around the world took notice, bidding not just for the coin itself but for the history it represents, the intrigue it carries, and the bragging rights of owning one of the rarest pennies of the 21st century. And after a heated bidding war among institutions, elite collectors, and international investors, the final sale price hit an astonishing $41 million, setting a record for modern US cent coins and proving that even in the age of digital currency and cashless transactions, there's still a place for the tiny copper and zinc marvels of old, especially when they tell a story like this, a story of how a modern coin, seemingly ordinary, struck in an era of mass production, can still capture the imagination of millions due to its imperfections. And the implications of this discovery have sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, sparking renewed interest in modern pennies and reminding us that even recent mintage years can harbor hidden treasures. And now collectors are diving into bags of 2015 Rarity cents, scrutinizing them under magnification, weighing them, testing them for unusual metal signatures, hoping to find even a distant cousin of this remarkable coin. And the US Mint has made no official comment on the origins of this specimen, which only deepens the mystery, with speculation ranging from rogue planchets, experimental strikes, accidental reuse of outdated equipment, to even theories involving intentional sabotage or private minting, though the most likely scenario is that a perfect storm of minor Oversights during an exceptionally busy minting period resulted in this modern masterpiece, and while other error coins exist, none have combined this many distinct anomalies with such pristine preservation, and collectors now regard the 2015 AD $41 million penny as a benchmark, a reference point for what a true modern era marvel looks like, and the effects of this single coin sale continue to ripple outward, raising prices across era coins of all kinds and encouraging new generations to take an interest in coin collecting not as a hobby but as a form of treasure hunting, where knowledge, attention to detail, and a bit of luck can turn pocket change into life-changing wealth, and in a time where most people overlook coins entirely, considering them obsolete or insignificant, this penny reminds us of the profound value that can be hidden in the smallest, most mundane places. So whether you're an experienced numismatist or someone just discovering the wonders of coin collecting, let this story inspire you to look a little closer, examine a little deeper, and never underestimate the hidden worth of everyday objects, because the next time you see a 2015 AD penny glinting at the bottom of your drawer, it might not just be spare change, it might be history, it might be a fortune, and it just might be your $41 million miracle. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey into one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from the world of coins where ordinary becomes extraordinary and the impossible becomes reality. Today's story is nothing short of extraordinary as we explore the unbelievable journey of a seemingly ordinary 2015 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a copper-colored piece that originally held the lowest face value in American currency, now commanding a jaw-dropping $14 million on the collector's market, and as improbable as it sounds, this coin has defied all expectations, not because of what it was meant to be, but because of everything it wasn't, because of everything that went wrong during its creation, every imperfection that slipped through undetected, every minute inconsistency that compounded with others to create one of the most valuable era coins in modern history. And what makes the story so compelling is not just the price tag but the sheer confluence of mistakes that would have been statistically near impossible to repeat. A cascade of rare minting errors and overlooked defects that transformed an otherwise valueless penny into a one-of-a-kind anomaly revered by numismatists across the world. So stay with us as we dive headfirst into the details of this miraculous coin, the 2015 Lincoln cent that stunned experts, shattered auction records, and rewrote what we thought we knew about modern American coinage. And it all begins at the Philadelphia Mint, where in 2015 billions of Lincoln cents were struck as part of routine circulation. And amidst the noise and mechanical rhythm of high-speed coin presses, something went wrong, or, depending on your perspective, something went astonishingly right for collectors. A single planchette meant for a standard 2015 cent entered the press not as it should have, but under a series of extremely rare and coincidental conditions that led to the birth of this million-dollar marvel, starting with a double die obverse error that's immediately noticeable even to the untrained eye, where inscriptions such as "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2015 appear duplicated, offset, and ghosted, which is a result of a die that was improperly manufactured, most likely receiving two misaligned impressions from the hub. And what makes this double die even more fascinating is its clarity and strength, showcasing separation between letters and numbers that goes far beyond the typical weak or machine doubling found in many less valuable cents. And yet this is only the beginning, because the reverse side of the coin also contains striking anomalies, including partial missing details on the shield lines and weak definition in areas that should have been fully struck, which suggests a combination of die fatigue and possibly the presence of foreign matter like grease or debris between the die and the planchette at the time of striking. And further examination under magnification reveals a die crack that stretches diagonally across Lincoln's shoulder into the coin's field, a type of mint error known as a die break that occurs when the minting die becomes fractured over time and continues to be used regardless, leaving raised lines or ridges that are actually part of the coin's surface and not the design. And this particular die crack is not only significant in length but also crosses an iconic portion of the design, making it more visually interesting and historically compelling to era collectors. But what truly elevates the coin to a legendary status is the discovery that it was struck on a transitional planchette, a coin blank that does not match the metal composition intended for the 2015 cent, which by law should be composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plated, but metallurgical testing revealed the planchette used was instead composed of a foreign alloy, possibly a leftover from another coin program, giving the coin a slightly different weight, luster, and coloration that raised immediate red flags among authenticators. And because the mint uses different alloys for different coin programs and foreign contracts, occasionally planchets can be misrouted, and when such a planchet is used for a different denomination or design, the resulting coin is categorized as a transitional error, one of the rarest and most desirable categories in numismatics, and combining that with a double die obverse, die cracks, and partial strike-through errors makes this particular 2015 cent something almost mythical in rarity. And the story doesn't end there, because during the grading process, it was also noted that the rim on one side of the coin displayed an irregularity, known as a collar clash, which occurs when the die strikes the planchet while the retaining collar is misaligned or damaged, causing the rim to appear offset, raised, or flattened, adding yet another layer of complexity and value to the specimen. And let's not forget the coin's visual eye appeal, which plays a significant role in its desirability and value, because despite all its errors, the coin is remarkably well struck in terms of luster and preservation, exhibiting minimal contact marks, full original mint red coloration, and near-perfect centering, suggesting it was likely pulled from an uncirculated roll or a mint bag before it could receive any circulation wear, which means it was graded extremely high by professional grading services, with reports suggesting a mint state 68 red grade, a level of preservation almost unheard of for error coins of this type. And once it was certified and attributed with its full list of dramatic errors, the coin was placed in a high-profile auction. And what followed was one of the most competitive bidding wars in recent memory, as high-net-worth collectors, institutional investors, and museum representatives all vied for the chance to own this unicorn of a coin, a piece that embodies everything rare, unexpected, and extraordinary about modern coinage. And after hours of aggressive bidding, the coin ultimately sold for an earth-shattering $14 million. A price driven not only by its technical rarity but also by the broader fascination with modern era coins and the explosive growth of the numismatic market in recent years, and this sale sent shockwaves throughout the industry, sparking a wave of renewed interest in Lincoln cents from the 2010s, with collectors scouring rolls, jars, and even bank boxes in hopes of discovering another multi-million-dollar treasure hiding in plain sight. And the 2015 Lincoln cent, once dismissed as too recent, too common, or too modern to ever be of value, was suddenly the poster child for a new era of coin collecting where even the youngest coins held the potential for fortune if their mistakes were rare enough, dramatic enough, and authenticated with precision. And this event also led to a deeper analysis of the 2015 production runs from the Philadelphia Mint, with researchers and specialists poring over mint records, studying die pairings, and inspecting coinage batches to determine how such an extraordinary error could occur and go unnoticed until discovered in the wild. And while the U.S. Mint has not issued any official explanation, the prevailing theory is that a combination of factors, including rushed production schedules, mixed planchet inventory, and insufficient inspection protocols, contributed to this coin slipping through. And while it is still believed to be unique, whispers have begun to circulate that a second or third specimen may exist, potentially still undiscovered in private hands or tucked away in a forgotten collection, which only fuels the excitement and market frenzy around 2015 cents, and collectors are now paying record premiums for coins from that year that display even the slightest anomalies, with common doubling, plating bubbles, and misstrikes suddenly receiving outsized attention and being submitted in droves to grading companies in hopes of hitting the jackpot. And that is the true legacy of the $14 million penny. Not just its monetary value but its ability to ignite imaginations, reshape collecting priorities, and demonstrate that modern coins, often overlooked in favor of older, classic pieces, still have secrets to reveal and fortunes to bestow. And it teaches us a crucial lesson, that greatness can hide in plain sight, that value is not always about age but about uniqueness, story, and the perfect storm of accidents that turn a mundane object into a monumental artifact. So the next time you receive change at the store or open a roll of new coins, pay close attention, examine the dates, inspect the surfaces, weigh the coin if it feels off, and never assume that just because a coin is new it can't be worth a life-changing amount of money, because history shows us again and again that treasures aren't always old, dusty, or locked in museums. Sometimes they're fresh from the mint, riddled with fascinating flaws, and waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. And if this story has inspired you or made you curious to learn more about hidden wealth in the world of coins, then make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more incredible tales of rare finds, record-breaking sales, and the never-ending pursuit of the next legendary coin hiding in your pocket or piggy bank.